Throwdown OCE Championship League Play number 4. My name is Hysterics and I'm joined by Career Lord, and now Wolfie's joined us on the desk to look at Legs of Silly taking on the Chiefs, which is a bit of an interesting affair.
Well, it looks straight out of the get-go sort of like a bit of a one-sided matchup.
Whoa,
Wow.
this guy.
Wow, so I'm sorry for saying that the number 1 team in League Play is up against one of the ones looking to be in the 7th or 8th position.
That's fair, isn't it? Legs of Silly, we saw their performance against Cham in the last series, and Chiefs have been unstoppable in
straight
League Play.
4-0, sorry.
For real.
For real.
For real. How do you stop the Chiefs, though, if you're a team like Legs of Silly?
Well, because the Chiefs' gameplay is so multifaceted, Legs of Silly need to play to force the errors out of the Chiefs. They need to push the offensive shots and not so much be on the back foot.
I think in terms of their play as well, they're going to have to rely on getting some of those pass plays we wanted from the last game out. And against the top teams, Zen actually has all but one of those goals. So he's pretty much the only player that has managed to score against one of the Elite Four.
Because at the moment, Chiefs haven't really looked weak, and we saw them against Love decks, maybe showing some opportunities for other teams to take advantage of. But that time has passed. The Chiefs we see now in League Play 4 are the Chiefs who are ready to go to RLCS.
That's right. You have a look in week 1, a 3-2 win, a little bit shaky from the Chiefs, and then they've only dropped one game in the other series that they've played, looking so strong right now.
That's because like Torsos is the Hulk of Rocket League, where you just make him angry and then he like practices way too hard and everyone just gets destroyed.
Well, it's not just Torsos, because you have a look at Drippe. He has the highest goals per game. Jake's second on assists in the entire league. Just looking at their individual skill, it's so high.
Yeah, Drippe, debatably one of the best players in the entire region.
I mean, it's an issue now, the change up in Chiefs when they came into this season. They changed their play style. They went from Jake back to Jake forward, and me likey Jake forward. Like, he is a dominant person in the Chiefs now.
Well, I think forward is probably not the correct way to put it in terms of, it may mislead how the audience may perceive it. He's not forward, he's just happy to come forward. He's now a player that will play reactively. He's more, I don't know,
well,
confident.
It changed from like the predefined roles of Jake's going to be the one who's always more back to they're all rotating very, very well and very frequently. And doing that, they're all over the pitch.
And yeah, Jake is still a little bit behind, though. You do see it in the way he plays. He either comes forward trying to get demos. He's got the highest demos pretty much in the entire league next to Sirix, or passing forward to Torsos or to Drippe, who take the shot.
However, with the Chiefs taking on Legs of Silly, we have to move on to predictions, and we've kind of set the tone, but now we have to finish it. How do you rate the Chiefs going up against Legs of Silly?
Well, I rate the Chiefs going up against Legs of Silly, so I'd say that Chiefs are going to take this one, and it's going to be a very convincing win.
So
yeah, in a similar boat. Chiefs are going to take this. It'll probably be a 3-0, unless they want to, you know, have a little freebie.
I think at the moment the Chiefs are just so dominant, and I'm scared for anyone who goes up against them because they feel like they're in their own league, right? They're the A League. Everyone else has joined the B League. Because not to say they're not good teams.
Wow, you're saying everyone else is a league below? Whoa.
They really are, though. The Chiefs are just in their own league. It's so hard to catch up to them because each time they go international, they come back and you're like, well, crap.
Looking at it objectively, like you go straight from the stats sheet, you go straight from the gameplay that you actually watch, the Chiefs are a step ahead of everyone else. They're always right up the top in terms of goals scored, shots on goal, everything else with it. And interestingly enough, they are one of the only teams that takes shots from the front left-hand side while everyone goes for the front right. So it's that kind of multifaceted gameplay, which is their strong suit.
It's quite interesting. Korea, let's keep an eye on that as we move into the game 1. And Legs of Silly taking on the Chiefs. Legs of Silly have the opportunity to create an upset here, and they need to step up from previous gameplay. The Chiefs have been a team who sometimes let a couple of balls through, maybe to the advantage of Legs of Silly.
But no one has been able to take a match off those couple of balls through. And if someone needs to, it needs to be Legs of Silly as they go for that runaway now. Finishing it off, Zen once again, the man who takes the goals from the Elite Four.
You saw Torsos behind him. Look at this. He's just driving by. He's like, oh, man. Oh, what have I done? And Legs of Silly getting the first goal. This is a great start.
Yeah, Torsos, beep, beep.
That's bad. Just want to get to work. 1-0. 4:39 on that beautiful scoreboard, and something about Legs of Silly here. They try to break away in game 1, and more often than not, they are successful. Getting the ball stolen away, Sammy will pass it over to Plitz, and they just need to get it out of the defensive side because rotations are starting to come through from the Chiefs. Pass back to Plitz will be forward instead. I'm so sorry. I was like, that's not backwards. 4 minutes 20 on the board. Zen now in defensive position, rotates around, the ball gets flown away. Chiefs actually letting this one pass a little bit, and for Plitz, they're trying to shore up their play. Sammy's there with the bump onto Torsos, but Jake's the one who dribbles it down. Drippe into the defense, and Zen setting it up for Legs Are Silly. Dropping down was not Plitz, and the Chiefs are still just kind of feeling their way through.
Yeah, stuck on defense, and Legs Are Silly are getting these shots through. The advantage they have is how fast they can be, because you're not going to out-rotate the Chiefs. That is their game.
The second shot was just from Zen their career, and Legs Are Silly are getting so many more ample opportunities. Zen takes it in off the roof, but Torsos reacts quickly. He's out of boost and will take time to recover. Drippe going around the ball, but it's in front of net, popped up. Drippe will be able to respond to this, gets a huge clear. That makes Legs Are Silly chase their tails a little bit, because Drippe's back in, off the backboard, not cleaned up.
And that was critical for them. We had that moment where we saw how far the Chiefs players had to rotate deep to get that defense, to get that boost for the following push. So be able to build that time and push back out has allowed them to get some freedom.
Remember that in week 1, Chiefs were pressured by Lovedex, but is this a different Chiefs? It's really them in fine form. Game 1 is leaving a couple of question marks though. Torso's coming around the ball. Legs Are Silly. Going to go for the defense rotations, but Drippe intercepts and get the first goal for the Chiefs.
This is what you have Drippe for. He is a monster that just punches out goals like you punch out hours in a card in 1980s.
Drippe locks it down and comes in so swiftly. And with the first goal, the Chiefs often go, right, now we know what's going on, boys. It's time to party, and the Chiefs have gone into the center field before to bang that one across swiftly and deadly. Plitz, however, with a light touch. Give it over to Drippe. The shots are coming out, but now the breakaway. Plitz has missed the ball, and Torsos and Drippe should be able to get this ball upfield. Jake with a light touch again. Legs Are Silly able to get through. This is quite rare against the Chiefs, and now for Plitz, just needs to lock it down, hits it on the backboard. Sammy brings it around as well, and the accuracy from Legs Are Silly just needs to improve.
And we see how far they're having to rotate back. Again, Drippe forced this far deep, but it's turned into a cheat and turned into a goal. Jake running forward to finish.
That was insane, Korea. Watch this one again. Sammy pops it up, and Jake's in it. Bam. Zen's like, oh, man, I wish I could have saved that.
Might as well be a part of it, right? Can't beat them, join them.
Yeah, Chiefs take the lead. And that is exactly what we expect out of the Chiefs. They've jumped onto the pitch a little bit later in game 1, but Plitz, the breakaway. It's a bit wide. Shots coming out left, right, and center from Legs Are Silly, but again, that accuracy, we need to question it, and that's going to be the difference here.
It's so difficult to score upon the Chiefs. They're the team that lets in the least number of goals, so trying to fight them on this kind of rotational pressure style is really going to be difficult.
Pass up to Drippe, he pops it there. Plitz will interact with Torsos mid-air, and as Jake comes around the ball as well, it's in center field. Sammy with the shot to lock it in.
What a comeback, though. This is legacy. We've seen so much growth over the course of this season, and we're going to see so much more as they push forward. They could actually win this.
I think for Legs Are Silly, the first game is a good indication of how they will perform in the rest of the series, because although they won the first game in the last series, they showed so many signs of life, so many different elements of their gameplay. 2-2 now at 1 minute 50, and Zen comes up for the ball. Plitz again in a good position to hang it back, and Chiefs will manage to hold the defense. A touch from Torsos. It goes into Sammy. Still on the defense. Legs Are Silly get a big clear and powerfully bring it back down this side of the field. Legs Are Silly wants to get their next shot in, because that's what will count. Drippe over the ball. Plitz able to defend. In again comes the Chiefs, and 3 members stuck in defense from Legs Are Silly. They try to roll the ball through and get it away. The Chiefs in a pressurous position, if that even is a word. Pressurous is not a word.
Pressuring?
Pressuring position.
Pressured position?
That's the one from the Chiefs. 1 minute 10 remaining career. Chiefs haven't locked down game 1, nor have Legs Are Silly.
Yeah, this is a great showing from Legs Are Silly, and they really need to pull this win. Because if they don't, they need some sort of Rube Goldberg machine to qualify for the top 6.
Oh, that was close from Torsos. Who is Rube Goldberg?
You know those cool machines where there's like, you know, Mousetrap the board game? It's essentially that.
Yes!
They're relying on Mousetrap the board game to qualify if they cannot beat Chiefs. And Jake, he just loves demoing. He opens up the net and uses that to allow his 2 powerhouse shooters of Torsos and Drippe to clean out the goals.
We're not done just yet, because around the corner, remember on this left wing, that's where they strike from, and Plitz reads that quite well. Around the side again, Jake is here. Zen back over to this left wing. This is where Chiefs want to be if they can get to the ball. But Zen getting the clear away, and I loved Mousetrap as a kid career, so I'm glad you brought that up. 15 seconds in game number 1. Overtime looking like a big possibility right now, but the Chiefs, their last play submits now. Blitz getting the clear. The response well from Legzasili. Now bringing it around the corner. Torsos will lose the ball, only to recover it himself. This ball should hit the ground. Unless Drippe wants to take it all the way himself, he does not.
Well, that's some confidence, right? Drippe nearly averages 2 goals for his team per game between his assists and his actual goals themselves. So he needs to get the score up. Got to make that final run.
Of course, of course. Of the kickoff, they're able to punch through. Torsos gets the bump on Zen, but to no regard because the Chiefs are unable to really get anything from it. However, Jake, as I say that, will take game 1 for the Chiefs.
Yet the read off the roof as well, just lining himself up. He is one of the mentally smartest players in the entire region. He knows where to be, where to follow up, and that is his role in the team.
And now that he's such a versatile player, always was, but he's showcasing it on the pitch. Jake has just really stepped up big in game 1, and for what was a kind of, I guess, momentum builder for the Chiefs, turned into a close call.
Yeah, Legzasili getting that many shots up against the Chiefs, breaking through their rotations and able to make the shots is the thing that impresses me. So looking forward to the rest of the game. This may not be the landslide that we all thought it would be.
No, because Legzasili are putting on a performance, but the accuracy, again, is what we have to question. If they get that accuracy, if they can set up these shots better, then immediately you have a Legzasili who can corner the Chiefs.
Yeah, and breaking through those rotations with those shots may just be the way to do it. And if we could see the Chiefs fall today, that could stop them qualifying instantly for the top 2.
And this could make the difference in league play for different teams as well. For teams like Legacy Darksided who are trailing behind them. If Chiefs took a loss here today, 4-1 they would sit. I mean, it is a potential. They're going up against Retirement Home next as well. So
You never know with Retirement Home.
if Legzasili could take it, then Retirement Home could potentially take it. Who knows?
Yeah, well, that's Retirement Home are a team that I think they put in like 55 hours last week.
Yep.
And if they put like 70 hours this week, who knows what they could do.
I'm glad because for Retirement Home, and for those of you tuning in who don't know, in the OCE Open Series, Retirement Home were just like, hey, we're here to play. Our name is like old people. And then in the OCE Championship, they've stepped up above just playing for the sake of it, just for the joke, quote unquote. Now it's serious matters, and we will talk about that when we come around to the series, because for the Chiefs esports, they know that the win against Legacy would set them up, and then they'll be more confident against Retirement Home. Game 1 is theirs, but will Game 2 be as well? Find out next time.
I was going to say, you're really hoping they cut to this game real fast.
No, we've got to a remake, by the way, because apparently not everyone joined. An FPS bug. Didn't know we had first-person shooters in Rocket League. I'm so sorry. I had to. I just had to. One day.
Anyway, back to the game. Back to the game. No, Legzasili had a great performance, and with a showing like that, it does give me a little bit of hope that they have a chance to pull this back, rather than be the kind of 3-0 we may have thought. At the desk it's going to happen.
Yeah, I'm still convinced, however, that Chiefs are going to improve each and every game.
Yeah, momentum's a lie. They like to throw the first game.
Yeah, first game has not been. It has been an indicator of skill for teams, but it hasn't been an indicator of how the series is going to go. Like, Legzasili performed well in the first game last time and performed quite well here as well. But then they start losing out. And I just think the first game is massive.
I like Jam Legacy.
Yeah. Like Jam and Legacy. Yeah, no, correct.
Go back.
Damn
the game that happened this morning.
I was there. At least I think I was there. Game 2, however, I'm definitely here now. Chiefs taking out game 1, and this is going to be the change if Legzasili can maybe get through Chiefs' defense. It's a hard thing to do, and it's something that teams have always struggled with. So how do you do it? Jake blocking it off well. Legzasili, they're just trying to get the passing play, but it's slow around this corner. Jake will hit it all the way over. Torsos with a great pass. It hits the backboard. The send up by Chiefs, and already off to a calculated start.
And a great decision to run back there from Legzasili. As soon as they noticed that the play wasn't going to work, all of them scampered back home, and because of that, they didn't get scored upon and have enough time to build the defense.
Torsos and Drippe were running upfield with hardly any boost and still show that controlled method of play. Plitz nailing it down the center. Will continue to run forward and now has to rotate back. Legzasili getting aggressed on by the Chiefs. Torsos brings it in and Jake around the side. Great center for Drippe and hits the backboard. It's a little bit short. Torsos should recover it, but it's blocked again. The runaway from Zen will meet with Jake, and for Sammy especially at 4 minutes in the game, it's he who has to step up even further. Been having a bit of a consistent day, but Zen and Blitz ones who want to finish the passing plays.
The mental fortitude is something that I'm interested in, how Chiefs are going to go knowing that Legs Silly got this close to taking them out, and the fact that poll results only 62 in favor for Chiefs, where we typically would think like 70, 80s. This is an international RLCS team we're talking about, and the goal didn't even go in.
For Drippe, though, that was a close defense. They'll get the clear eventually. Drippe runs away with it. Sammy back. Jake now as well. The angle nice, but it's in front of Blitz. Finish it off, Torsos, but he'll hit it with the back of his car. Up he goes again, using the rest of boost to get to that corner. After picking that one up, now recovering Drippe here as well. Runs up the ball, but Torsos, good pass over to Jake. The 1-2, the 3 denied by Blitz.
But once again, we're seeing Legacy in their half. They're not feeling the pressure that most players would be like, we're against the Chiefs. We're going to be locked in there forever just being shot upon. They're breaking out. They're in the Chiefs' halves. They're making everywhere they're home.
Well, for Legs are silly. They've been under pressure for the past couple of weeks. I mean, they're sitting down the bottom of the ladder. And this game will cement their position there, at least for this week. Legs are silly are a team who have struggled to get on the board. Their only win being against Retirement Home. And now the Chiefs, they want to make sure they don't take another.
Yeah, Legs are silly. A little bit too overconfident there as they came up the pitch. And Torsos with that perfect read. Fast enough to beat out Legs are silly.
First goal going over to the Chiefs in game 2. And this is the momentum shift. Chiefs do not like momentum, but we know they respond to it. Pushing the ball up. Legs are silly. I did it as well. Legs are silly are going to have to react fast because the Chiefs are getting their tempo up and their advantage is starting to be shown on the pitch.
Yeah, and the confidence there, Zen cheating forward to get the rotation. The follow-up play coming through, nearly a goal. That is how they've been scoring against all the rest of the Elite Four. They get Zen into a position to receive a pass, then boot it down the middle.
And because that goal doesn't go in, the Chiefs immediately bring back their advantage. Torsos centers it nicely, and although Drippe's already back, look at the rotation. Torsos back up to it. That's a weird pass back. It actually opens it up for Sammy. It bounces over the top. Jake can't save it, but luckily Drippe can. Sammy will have the shot, but it's too wide.
They're not down, they're not out though. Sammy getting that demo gives them the opportunity to open it up. Unfortunately, with no boost, you can't make the play.
I'm watching Zen right now. He needs boost to finish off the play himself, and Jake will get the clear. Immediately, Drippe puts pace on the ball, and Jake finishes it off.
Too much commitment there. You can't give Chiefs that much of an advantage in terms of being able to maneuver around you. You have to take the boost and retreat when you need those resources. Otherwise, if it gets flipped, you're gone and you're out.
But Korea, I mean, Chiefs, even when they're not on their 100% on their clean, methodical, like, hey, we're versing Tainted Minds, we want a quick win here. The Chiefs still manage to find these breakaways, and although that is a good angle from Legs are silly, and we want to see more consistent plays like that, the Chiefs are managing to hold out. 1 minute 30 and game 2 looks pretty clean. Sammy doesn't find it. The defense, a little bit sloppy from the Chiefs.
That's some serious confidence there if you're going to be leaving it for the person sitting at rear post when Legs are silly, who are a bit of speed demons, are like circling you like vultures.
Torsos waits back. The Vultures continue to prey on Legs are silly, the team that has made some upsets before. The backboard was their friend, and you betrayed it. 1 minute remaining. Legs are silly, just can't break through. How do they get it? The Chiefs again. Legs are silly struggling here, and Chiefs will find their 3rd goal.
I think that's a down and out for Legacy this game. Chiefs are the most difficult to score upon team, only letting about 1.5 through a game. So when you're double that, I think it's pretty safe to call.
Yep, Chiefs in game 2. They hit their mark, they hit it well. And especially when, as I said, you're going up against Retirement Home next, you need to make sure that your play is clean against Legs are silly. Retirement Home are a very different team. They can be fast, they can be surprising, and they can be quite creative with passes. Chiefs in this game, they've been a little bit slow and a little bit slower to react. Something that has to be addressed on. Drippe finds another one through. Ladies and gentlemen, the Chiefs. Something that is clean and 30 seconds to go with Chiefs just so comfortable here. I fear that they still just can't be stopped.
Now they're machines, and it's going to take someone from the Elite Four to take down these Chiefs. But they've beaten Legacy,
reference.
They've beaten Tainted Minds. The only players left are Darksided.
That's right. And Darksided, they're going well through league play. Let's not forget, however, though, the Chiefs and Darksided, the history has kind of worked out for them. And it's not the old roster. It's still, you know, you still got Jake, Drippe, Torsos, the longest standing roster in the world, who just decide that Goals are more fun.
Look great on the scoreboard, right? You need to go for that highest, you need most saves, you need most strikes, and get those extra little awards at the end of the year.
But let's take a step back. Let's take a step back, Korea. Darksided are a team that, you know, Chiefs will be looking towards. It's the old rivalry. It's a team that can maybe dethrone them. Just like tainted at the good parts of their play, just like Legacy as well. Although we didn't see that in league play. I think for the Chiefs, this is maybe another bump in the road. One that stopped them for a little bit, but they've continued on driving. The Chiefs 5-0 in game number 2.
Yeah, Chiefs versus Retirement Home is going to be pretty indicative of what's going to be going down. So I'm excited for that match because Darksided went down to them. So
yeah, but this was a
transitive properties.
This is a top team versus a bottom team, and Legs are silly. They really show the signs of stress and strain. There were 7 shots in total, and Legs are silly did not get 1 goal. 9 shots for the Chiefs, 5 of them went in.
It's the way those shots came through as well from Legs are silly. There wasn't so many points you're like, oh my god, Chiefs are on the back foot. They're about to be destroyed.
Yeah.
They still had that Chiefs confidence where like it's methodical. They're expecting a shot to come through. They're going to clean it up. They're going to take the ball. They're going to run it to your half. They're going to put it in your goal, and then we rinse and repeat.
But then, I mean, how do you stop that? Like, Legs are silly. There's got to be some kind of method that they can employ to give them a better chance against the Chiefs.
Oh, yeah, it's really easy. You fly to EU, and you scrim there for like 6 months.
All right.
And then you got a much better chance.
All right, smartass. All right. The question I'm trying to ask, and everyone would agree with me, is how do Legs are silly breach Chiefs? How do we get a goal? How do we get it in there?
I think they're just in a position where there's no like quick, easy solution. There's no pill you can pop to beat the Chiefs. Their rotations, their rotations are really, really clean. So even when they're not on form, they're still pretty good. Individually skilled, like Drip can shoot from pretty much anywhere. Torsos is mechanically amazing. Jake's one of the smartest players in the game. Like he knows where to be, when to come forward. He sets up most of some of the most demos in the entire league that lead to goals. He's got some of the most assists that lead to goals. And he doesn't play overconfidently, so you know he can always run back to defend.
Well, game 3 for the Chiefs, and this is the clinical play that we've come to expect, and now they're ready to short things up. And in game 3 against Legs are silly, this could be all she wrote. Legs are silly, this could be the difference for them and take them down to the bottom position, and they could stay there. Trey with a light pop up. This is going to be a goal from Jake, and the first one's kicked off well.
And that's the start we expect after that 5-0 finish. They're just going to keep going strong. They like to have a little bit of an iffy first game, as you mentioned. Momentum's a lie. And then just power you through the rest of it.
Well, it's only 1 goal yet, Korea, and I still believe in Legs are silly to some degree. I believed in them against Jam, but I mean, against the Chiefs, much harder matchup. It's a much different matchup. Jake off the kickoff. Oh, they're running away with this.
Yeah, it's that moment when Neo understands how the Matrix works and everything just becomes his.
Everything, and he can't die. Like, he just cannot lose until the 3rd one when, you know, he's about to die. The second one. Spoilers. I'm sorry. If anyone hasn't seen The Matrix, it's been like 20 years. So actually, no, screw that. There's no spoilers here. Matrix is old.
And there's no 3rd Matrix, so it's all good.
There is. Did no one like the 3rd Matrix? Is that the joke?
Yeah.
I love the 3rd Matrix. Redemption, what's it called? The second one, apparently. Matrix Reloaded was a good film. That's an absolute lie. The first one was the best, however, folks. And in 4:30, Chiefs, casually holding out on defense. Big Matrix fan, by the way. At 4 minutes, I think for the Chiefs, it's just about putting that nail in that coffin and continuing to run through league play. They've had a lot of 3-0s, a lot of 3-1s, and this seems to be one of them. Zen will try and find this opening, but Chiefs are just playing with them at this point. The struggle continues.
Yeah, I think the big question for me here is now, is this a Chiefs that's playing well enough to beat out Retirement Home that played like they did last week?
Well, I think Retirement Home have had a bit of a decline career. At the start of league play, there was so much potential, but now for Retirement Home, I wouldn't rate them as highly as I'd question them with Jam Gaming at some points. I'd question them against other teams. You wouldn't put them above 6.
I don't know, dude. They're 3-1 Darksided. I wouldn't really call that a slump.
No, I wouldn't, but I think there's been moments when you say, hey, they lost against Legs are silly. Is the inconsistency too much to call? And against Legs are silly, I mean, there's inconsistencies there as well as we've seen today. But going against the Chiefs, the way they're looking in this series, it's still just the Chiefs who are having a good time, having a bit of a laugh, and the passing play, very clean. The save will come through from Zen, but the Chiefs still continue to apply that pressure.
And just controlling the game. That's the way they work. They don't have these monstrous flashy plays, but they can, with Drippe scoring another one on them. But they don't depend on them, is what I'm trying to say. They can just slowly pull you apart. They're like God playing with ants.
Yeah, the ants are struggling underfoot.
Kid with a microscope.
Chiefs are 3 minutes away from most likely securing this one, and has been a bit of a runaway. Game 1 was close, and I was eager to say that maybe the Chiefs are not on point today. I think this has been a very different Chiefs lineup, however. It's one that, I don't know. I feel like they're warming themselves up for the retirement home game.
Yeah, and so it's a warm-up you need. And I think for Legs Are Silly, this is a point where they need to really knuckle down for next week. They need that win if they want to make that top 6 and not be relegated out of the competition. And they're also going to rely on some matchups between Lovedex and Jam to hope these guys drop below them, allowing them to get boosted up into that top 6.
But is it a point of just shoring up the accuracy? Like, I feel like there's a lot more that Legs Are Silly need to achieve.
There's definitely a lot of leg room that they could work with. At the beginning of the season, we saw some defensive problems coming out of them. And, yes, Jake?
No.
Leg work?
Yeah, leg work. I like it. I like it.
Anyway, so there's a lot they could fix up. They could work. Their shooting is pretty good. Getting more consistent passes between them would be really nice to see. Shoring up their rotation so Sammy's not being forced to go back. Blitz having a bit more confidence there as well would really help for that. Because we see Sammy over the season has got more confident. We did see last game he had those 5 shots against Chiefs, which is showcasing some growth. And Blitz and Zen's passes together, when they start to strike, we've seen some serious boomers come out of them that have led to game wins alone.
Yeah, the improvement, however, has to continue on because the Chiefs are just a whole different beast, and one that has been tamed many times over. Sauce, he just looks so comfortable. They can beat out the defenders, and Legs Are Silly are really struggling to win these challenges. As the center comes through, Chiefs still up 4 goals, and this one's going to slowly hit the ground. Jake finishing it off 5-0, and the nail continues to deepen.
It's a lot of nails.
A lot of nails. I mean, a coffin has... A normal-sized coffin would have about 10 nails.
You reckon?
I reckon about 10 nails. Back in the day, if you've ever watched Clint Eastwood's for a Fistful of Dollars, where he says, "I want you to apologize to my horse," and then the guys start laughing, and he's like, "I don't think it's nice you laughing," and yeah, like, you know, you can see there's like 10 nails in the coffin. It's exactly how it should be. A coffin career right now, it's looking pretty desperate. I think the Chiefs are just walking away with it. There's not much more to say, folks. This has been a dominant stomp and something that we expect from the Chiefs. And Legs Are Silly going to have to reevaluate because at the moment, 7th and 8th, that looks to be their home. And it's just always been the struggle. Each and every league play for Zen and Blitz especially, they just struggle to get out of a weakened position.
I'll struggle to get into that top 4.
Yeah.
They're players that if you see them coming through, you can pretty reliably say, these guys are league play material.
Yes.
They haven't really crossed over to say, you guys are going to be the finals. I think that's the point of growth I want to see them go through this year. We've already seen tons of development in this league play. The potential's there.
The potential is, but for Zen and Blitz, top 8, no doubt. You got to get beyond that, and kind of the disappointment that they'll be seeing. Finally, this one will come to a close. And I think the Chiefs will be happy with the overall result. They'll be working towards retirement home, and in our OCE league play, this is the benefit of having this format where we can see it finally, yay! This is where we can finally see, we see the back-to-back games put strain on these teams, and although they're only best-of-5s, 2 best-of-5s back-to-back, and it's on that nerves, the pressure, at least for other teams, maybe not like the Chiefs.
Yeah, so for Chiefs, coming back to where they're sitting in the ladder now, this win has actually been really important, despite the fact it came quite easily to them after the first game. If they can get 2 wins today, they auto-qualify top 2.
Yeah.
They've already qualified top 6, so for them, they're safe from doing the first round of finals if they can win the next match against Retirement Home.
We expected it because with the Chiefs, they just have been a team who, since OCE started going to RLCS, they were there. First seed, and now in the 3rd season that we will be going over, it's OCE's time to shine once again with the Chiefs maybe leading the charge at this rate. 3-0 and a clean series to start them off.
Yeah, 3rd time is the charm for Chiefs, both in games for this match and RLCS attendance. I'm excited to see what we get out of them if they do manage to make that run. You never know. Legacy, Darksided, Tainted Minds, they can be sneaky boys and come up and surprise us all.
I wouldn't be surprised if the Chiefs take this win and then move forward in a very dominant style towards retirement home. Because Legs are silly, that wasn't what we saw, I guess, against Jam Gaming. They didn't have the breathing room. And the Chiefs just took that one away, Wolfie.
They absolutely did. I have to say, though, I am a little bit disappointed in how Legs are silly played because I feel like they played, or they feared the idea of Chiefs rather than the actual Chiefs. Because you have a look at game one there, right? It was actually very close. It was a little bit sloppy in defense from both teams, but a very close game. And then when it came to game 2 and 3, it was a whitewash. It was an absolute whitewash.
Oh yeah.
So when you have a look at it, though, I think that in defense, the game was lost rather than the game being won, if that makes any sense.
No, it does. Absolutely. I think when you look at Legs are silly, like you said in game 2 and 3, it was just like, hey, what happened to the performance from game 1? Where was the aggression, the speed on the ball? And when you go up against the Chiefs and you can't get out of your own half, it's over.
Well, when you had a look at a lot of the gameplay from Chiefs in defense, the ball was actually sitting around the Chiefs' net a lot. But there was never any commitment from Legs are silly. You're like, oh, the offensive players come. No, he's not there. Okay, he's not there at all.
And that's something we noticed from the replays, right? When we go through Legs are Silly's gameplay, when they start to fall behind, they become really indecisive about when to go in, and they lose those opportunities, be that offense or defense.
That's
when
right.
they start to let them through or miss the opportunity to put them away.
Yeah, their confidence goes down a lot, and you also see a lot more whiffs because they're kind of thinking, oh, I'm really nervous, I'm behind, I got to do stuff, got to do it very fast, and they lose the function to do or to play as well as they can in the moment.
Well, a very simple series, and Chiefs taking it 3-0. However, do you have a contender as we move towards our Omen by HP MVP at the end of the day, Wolfie?
I think choosing out of the Chiefs players, definitely, I would have to go with Torsos. I kind of thought that he was all up in the action, all in the business, and then Jake was really good to assist him in that.
Yeah, I mean,
Even though
it's
he's
the
already got
Chiefs.
an
You can like
MVP.
throw a dart at any of the 3 names, and no one's ever going to be like, oh, terrible pick.
That's a bad choice right there.
Clean and convincing. And of course, if you want to become like the Chiefs and join up to throwdownesports.com, and you can sign up to our our Throwdown Cup. Almost walked into that one, gents. And of course, we've got our monthly final coming up next Wednesday as well, which Wolfie and I will be doing,
Whoa,
baby.
spoilers, you know.
Oh, sorry. One of us on the desk will be doing it. We're going to go to a 5-minute break, and when we return, the Chiefs will be taking on retirement home.